It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Activate beast mode, I just hit cheat code. Gotta say his niggas want Rico. Ayy, I was on TiVo, green dot reload. About to touch down like Tizo. Ayy, stunning like Steve-O, simple like free throw. Juice color like Nigo. Ayy, whip got soup like miso. Ayy, nigga take L like default. Riding through the city, no gas. I be floating on the track, no rail. Okay. Never did art. I just need cheese for the craft for front. I don't put it on tab. Never tell move smart. Hollywood to school with your dad. Now they got me saying rules in the class. I'm just trying to do my part. Nigga walk smooth like Shaft. Wanna see me come through for the bad. I got my 808 dumping when I'm cruising through the street. We just vibing, niggas riding, hit the spot like 10 deep. I need my squad on my back, we ain't no game, but they my peeps. I need like 20K at least. I'm just trying to keep the peace. Okay, I did it before, do it again. Got me get temperature, move on my pen. Niggas be talking about family with money involved when it's not niggas going to win. Roll with the punches, I took it to chin. Back to the city, I'm booking events. Destroy your friends, just like a smoothie we blend. She came with the juice and the gin. Ayy, something nigga with another swag. Drag these niggas like a bowling bag. Got the soul like all I know. Always with my brothers like Hall and Nash. Label gave that nigga $1 million and they probably never made a quarterback. Big facts like the almanac. Rappers hating, now they want an autograph.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, and I'm more source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Now, in this particular video, we're going to be getting into we're going to go over all of the XXL freshmen for 2025, but we're going to be honing in on two of them specifically, as in Vaughn and Samara Cyn. If you've been watching my content for at least a few months or the better part of this year, then you know we've done plenty of videos centering on Vaughn. I've also talked about Samara Cyn numerous times on this channel. Haven't necessarily made a dedicated video simply because a lot of her music is just copyright protected. I can't really show it. She doesn't have like a whole bunch of freestyles out there to really go through. I hope she kind of gets into that circuit a little bit. But nonetheless, we've talked very highly of her on this channel, and I'm happy to see that both of them got on the XXL freshman list, because the list has been it's been underwhelming for the last few years. So it's good to at least see good rappers, good lyricists actually make it on there, even if the rest of the people on the cover or the list are not necessarily the same type of artists. It's always good to have at least some type of representation of real traditional people from hip hop that have respect for the craft. Also on there is Jello, as in Jello Ball. Did I think he should have been on there? Not necessarily, but he did have a super big wave at the top of the year. I may swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa. I like that song. He had the song Can You Please or whatever. I don't know if that's the name of it, but Can You Please show that ever me, featuring Glorilla. They did the Rager remix. I think Wayne was on it. So he's had some buzz. He's had some things going on. That buzz has died down quite a bit. It's been a lot more controversy around his name this year after that took off. I don't know if that was deliberate or just, consequential, but whatever. Salute to him as well and the other artists on the list. Let's go through the list as a matter of fact. All right. XXL freshman class 2025 revealed. Okay, they say hip-hop's most talked about time of year for new artists is here for 18 years. Shout out to them for doing this for 18 years, because they could have definitely stopped it, but this is also one of the primary things that XXL still gets, talked about for. Anyway, the XXL freshman list has established itself as the go-to platform for discovering emerging rap talent. The streaming era has significantly broadened the landscape for artists, transforming a smaller pool of talent into a vast ocean of skill. Despite the influx of new rappers entering the scene, only a select few truly stand out. I don't know how I feel about when they say something like that. Just say y'all chose the ones that y'all editors like the most. This year, out of 68 artists considered for the freshman class, 12 have made the cut. The journey to this point is always challenging, involving numerous meetings with the new generation of rappers where we listen to unreleased music, discuss their career aspirations, and explore their future goals. The critical decision-making process then determines who will be recognized as the next superstars in the game. While many factors influence who makes the class, their overall talent gets them a spot on the cover. These 12 prominent rising rappers are... It's 12 now? I thought it was 10. Anyway, rising rappers are at the head of their class with raw bars, real stories, and unshakable energy. From the recording studio to the cover, these are the artists shaping the next era of hip-hop. Unfortunately, this year's 10th spot winner was arrested, on his way to the freshman shoot. He didn't get to rap with the rest of the group, but he's still part of the class. How the fuck? Whatever. Whatever, yo. Over the next month, XXL will release freestyles, ciphers, AVCs, and more featuring each freshman on our YouTube channel and website. Producer Cardo Got Wings, shout out to Cardo, created the beats for this year's much anticipated ciphers. So that should be good. Cardo be having some shit. Hopefully he don't just give them generic trap shit to rap on though, because that's what they tend to use in these ciphers. I hope they have a decent variety of production to choose from. And I am interested to see what them ciphers gonna be hitting on, but they probably gonna be copyright claimed any fucking way, right? The freshman issue is available to purchase now. In addition to interviews with the 2025 freshman class and Cardo, there are also conversations with Amine. Shout out to Amine, Portland, stand the fuck up. Larry June, Key Glock, Monaleo, Tech 9, Nardo Wick, and more, plus a look back at what the 2024 XXL freshman class has been doing. Also a deep dive into who's the biggest and best XXL freshman ever. Interesting statement. The issue is on sale on the website along with some exclusive freshman merch. All right. Now, first up, we have Ray Vaughn. Shout out to Ray Vaughn. He been doing his motherfucking thing, been battling it out, getting buzz for himself, putting out, The Good, the Bad, the Dollar Menu is one of the standout projects that have been released in 2025 thus far. He's earned it, and he's kept himself in the conversation all year. Next up, we have Baby Chief Do It. This looks like a child rapper. Never seen this person, never heard of them in my life, but salute to you and your family. Next up, we've got Eam Triplin. Once again, never seen nor heard this name. Salute to you and your loved ones. Okay, 1900 Rugrat. I've seen the name before, never seen this person, never heard this person's music before. This is a generational gap here, and I don't regret it. All right, we've got Samara Cyn. Once again, one of the highlighted artists we'll be talking about in this video. I've been following her for a few years now, and she's come a long way. And salute to her, she's dope. Ian. Okay, so I do know who Ian is. A lot of controversy has been around Ian's name, especially of him being a white boy, basically transmuting into a Gucci Mane trap rapper type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Tyler, the Creator, is vehemently against Ian, and I don't necessarily blame him. But, based on the buzz that he's been able to accumulate, the people that he's been able to associate himself with, and, staying viral, it earned him a spot. I'm not too surprised. We've got Jello Ball. I just spoke about him a few minutes ago, talked about, what he's done this year. He's one of the artists signed to Def Jam. Basically, Def Jam is on his back at this point because I don't even know who else is over there after the Clips left. I think Coco Jones is over there too, though. So between Jello and Coco Jones, hey, more power to y'all. Next up, we got Low Shimmy. I'm going to shimmy on down, but love to you and your family. Never heard of you, but salute. I have heard of Laser Dim 700, never heard the music, but I've seen the name circulating on social media before. YTB Fat, never heard the music, know the name, salute to you. Nino Pate, never heard the name nor the music, salute to you. 10th spot winner is EBK Jabo. This is the guy that got locked up on his way there. Okay, so he didn't even make the cover. We have Cardo Got Wings. He's the producer. He's not actually, a freshman. So there's that for them. Now, right after the freshman class of this year was announced, we also got an announcement from TDE and Ray Vaughn that Ray Vaughn is now signed with RCA Records. Okay? He's still signed to TDE, but he has now been upstreamed to the major label system, meaning that Vaughn is no longer independent. He is now a major label artist with RCA. RCA falls under the Sony umbrella. I am very interested to see how this pans out. You know, SZA is also under the Sony umbrella. I believe she's over there via is it RCA or is it Columbia? It is RCA. Okay, so they've developed a good relationship with TDE via RCA through SZA. You know, they've been marketing her, pushing her music. She's had great success with RCA, and now we've got another with Vaughn. All right, so they say the MC who performed at Kendrick Lamar's The Pop Out concert last year has a new major label home. TDE's Vaughn is the newest member of the RCA roster. The label announced his signing today on the heels of the Good Bad, the Dollar Menu mixtape, and his selection of XXL's 2025 freshman class, which also lets y'all know he was already signed prior to this, okay? They're just now finding the right time to announce it, but whether it was signed last week, last month, this didn't just get inked today. You know what I'm saying? Just to be clear, that's not how it works. They had to go through negotiations, lawyers, provisions in the contract, etc., before this thing gets announced and signed. Anyway, Vaughn also garnered headlines for his part in a bi-coastal bar fest against Joey Badass and other East Coast MCs. The rising artist recently told Rolling Stone that he's prepping his debut album. He says, "I'm trying to figure out the sonics of everything." He said in a piece about what he and other artists have been up to since Kendrick Lamar's Pop Out concert. He says, "I got a couple of songs done, but I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go and where I want to take it for the most part to make people understand what I'm doing and where I'm trying to go." And now, Vaughn is able to pursue his album with the backing of RCA. He says, "I feel like this was the best decision I could have made major label wise," Vaughn said of the signing. Y'all need to get that typo fixed in his name. "They seem the most interested in me. They see the vision, not to mention CEO Peter Edge and President Mark Pitts have brought so many legends to the game." Mark Pitts, go look his name up. He's been associated with a lot of superstars and hip-hop legends, okay? He continued, "I don't even have a well-known name yet, but me just being a part of the RCA lineage now, as well as the TDE lineage, I feel like that's the perfect combination. We got SZA over here, I'm over here, TDE is infiltrating the structure and system. Choosing RCA was a great decision, as it's been nothing but love over here." And Top Dog, founder of TDE, says he's excited about the future of Vaughn, whom he calls one of the best doing it. "He's got the DNA we look for in a TDE artist," Tiffith adds in a statement. His project, The Good, the Bad, the Dollar Menu, says it all. His storytelling, delivery, and bars are crazy. "We're also happy to announce that we're partnering with RCA again. We've been successful before, and I know with Ray, we will continue to win." The signing news comes with a teaser of the official video for Vaughn's mixtape focus track, Look at God, set to drop at noon on June 26th. Okay, so that would be Thursday. And y'all know Look at God is one of the favorites from The Good, the Bad, the Dollar Menu. It's one of the single worthy songs. It's one of those records that can go in the club, in a function, outside music. Features La Russell, who is also buzzing, who's also got a name built for himself, who's also very respected throughout the industry from major figures and independents as well. So you can bet that that's going to go up pretty crazy. Salute to Ray Vaughn. And I just hope that everything works out. I hope this doesn't end up being one of those RCA stories that we've seen from other artists like Normani. Doja has complained of RCA before. A lot of the R&B artists over there on RCA, they have great success over there, but then there's also some very tough situations where artists have been shelved or not had the direct support of the label for the music. In Ray Vaughn's favor, he still has TDE speaking on his behalf. He still gets to retain a lot of his creative control via that TDE partnership. So hopefully when he's ready to present the music, the label is going to go full force and move ahead the way that they've done for SZA. And I'm also hoping, Ray Vaughn has been very adamant about being able to allow the reactors to react to his music to help him build. And that's something he's been very, very strong about, is clearing those copyright claims so that people can actually freely react to his music and give him that extra promotion that's going to keep him elevating to the next level. So hopefully RCA allows him to keep that autonomy over his music as well. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough because like I've told y'all before, the Sony empire has been very, very militant with how they pursue strikes. I've been struck twice this year by Sony. Once for SZA and once for Drake. You know what I'm saying? I was able to get those off my channel, but hopefully that doesn't end up being the case with Ray. Now let's get to Miss Samara Cyn. She has a recent interview with Billboard. She was actually Hip Hop Rookie of the Month with them recently. And I want to go through this because she's talented and we don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about her. So this is the perfect opportunity to get into who she is if you're not familiar, all right? So they say Samara Cyn never wanted to be a rapper. Even while moving around the country as a military brat, Cyn was a straight A student who prided herself on never getting a single B on her report card in her entire life. Oh, overachiever are we? It wasn't until a 2021 college internship at a software company, Intel, that she knew corporate America and the cubicle weren't for her. It was just miserable, she laments to Billboard during her April NYC visit. She said, I would smoke lavender cigarettes, the herbal shit that be at crystal stores because it calms you down. I was smoking that and drinking Angry Orchards because I'm allergic to beer. That was the era of my life. So you was trying to get lit through alternative methods. 4 years later, Samara Cyn is one of the rising stars in rap's rookie class and a breath of fresh air in the genre, boasting an ambitious blend of hip-hop and neo-soul. She's been compared many times to Doja Cat. I think a lot of that is due to the texture of her voice, and of course, we can't overlook the light-skinned nature. But if you actually listen closer to her music, she actually reminds me a little bit more of a Smino in woman form. And they have a new song out recently as well called Brand New Teeth that y'all should check out. I can't play it here, but go check it out. Okay. After signing with Vanta, I don't even know who Vanta is. We'll have to look into them at the top of 2024. The Arizona State University alum delivered her heavy debut project, The Drive Home, in October, which showcased clever wordplay, twisted storytelling, and an arsenal of wispy poetic flows on her arduous journey to healing and finding peace. She's picked up some major cosigns along the way, catching the eye of legends like Nas, Erykah Badu, and Lauryn Hill. Cyn's been on the run, but she was forced to sit still when the devastating wildfires ripped through California in January, which provided a sobering genesis for her Backroads EP, arriving on June 20th. Just dropped. She says, I'm sitting in my house with no power and my phone's dead, and I realized how uncomfortable it made me to sit in silence. She explains with her silver grills peering through. She says, it made me reflect on how easy it is for how easy it is for us to ignore and distract and disassociate rather than face things and talk about what's going on. The 26-year-old continues, we're desensitized as fuck. It pushed me into the whole delusion thing. How much are we willing to sacrifice to be comfortable and be delusional? Backroad is the long way around instead of facing that shit. Cyn, who's currently trekking through North America with her Brand New Teeth collaborator Smino on the Country Cousins tour, delves further into June's Backroads EP, Lauryn Hill bringing her out of the show, and where she sees herself in 10 years. Learn more about our Hip Hop Rookie of the Month from May below. All right, so here we get into the actual Q&A between Billboard and Samara, okay? This is where she reveals that she did not want to be a rapper initially. She says, hell nah, nope. This is a dumbass career choice. How many times have I said that to myself? So stupid. When I was a kid, my voice used to be different. Then I got my tonsils and adenoids taken out. I snort like a 40-year-old man at 5. My mom said that when I woke up from surgery, when I started talking, that it startled because I sounded so different. Startled her. I started doing music when I was in college. When I was in high school, people would say, your voice is so cool. Interviewers or strangers would say, you sing right. I'm like, yeah, a little bit. I think you kind of have to have that distinctive something as an artist. When you hear it, it's like, oh, I know who that is. So people were already complimenting her for her voice before she even chose to use it. They ask, why is rap a dumb career choice? She says it's not lucrative at first. It's like trying to get into the NBA. It's not done for the people who make it. A very small number of people get to have long careers. You got to work really fucking hard, and you don't get paid for a long time. That's fucking facts unless you really know how to get it behind the scenes. Let me put out the resolve. Any career choice that is fulfilling to you is good for you to make that career choice. They say it could be fulfilling and dumb at the same time. How does one go about managing their finances like that? It's like you're poor 1 second and come into money and might go crazy with it. She says she's a smart cookie. A lot of people do that. She says, I had a lot of people around me that did that, and they told me, you're going to blow your first bag. I was like, no, I'm not. Watch what I do. I was real adamant because I know how this is set up. We don't get a 401k or a W-2 at the end of the year. Cool, you made your first 6 figures. And you don't realize half of that shit is going to taxes. You made 50,000. Calm down. You have to be really smart about it. Not necessarily half. If you got a good tax professional in your corner, not half. Especially if you got write-offs and things of that nature, you could probably save a little something. But I get it. So immediately, I went and found a financial advisor. I don't want to work a job and do this as my job, so I need this much in salary, this much in high yield, and I want to start a retirement fund. A lot of artists I was asking hadn't gotten in the position yet, or they didn't know even if they passed it. There's no blueprint. I stayed in the same apartment and car. So she did not upgrade her crib. She did not upgrade her whip. Okay, she found a financial advisor, said I need to make this much out of what I got. I need to have investments, and I need to have my retirement fund set up. All right. So she's thinking ahead for rainy day already at 26 and investing the money she received for, I guess, her deal. So they say, how did you get in the zone for this project? She says, I made all of those songs except for one between now and January. It's been a few months of making these records. Started in January with the wildfires that happened, my power off. We just talked about that. You start doom thinking and all the shit that's going on in the world is super fucked up. I'm over here struggling to not have power for a few days, and it's kids in Gaza that just had their house blown up. No family, no food, no water. Just recognizing my privilege in that moment. It really made me reflect on how I was showing up and what my contribution was. It made me feel like it wasn't enough. What am I going to do about the shit that's going on in the world? I'm going to make a song about it. How often I have a TV sitcom playing in the background or music in the background. It's easy to distract because that shit is heavy. It's heavy to think about everything all at once. Even what's going on in our country right now, like it's fucked up, but we just continue to do our job. Even when the wildfires were happening, people were still going to work and their whole neighborhoods were burning down. I don't think my contribution was enough because all I did was write songs about it. How stupid I feel sacrificing so much. It started with Poppin' Olive, which is on the new project, Sonic Symbolization, feel-good song where we're talking about killing people the whole time, hard-headed, straight on, confront society and how it is. Why are we the way we are and ignore shit when we know we can do something about it? Visually, I'm stepping into the 3D worlds to kind of represent the delusion and the comfort aspect. They get into who she signed with, Vanta, what made them the right partner. She said she signed with them in January of 2024. What made them the right partner? One, they were very adamant about being artist friendly. I felt like a lot of people we were meeting with were like, yeah, but, right? Because she wasn't like, you think back a year ago from today, I knew who Samara was, but I'm sure a lot of y'all didn't. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't necessarily the most in-demand artist, although she had talent and she was putting good music out and good visuals. I'm sure a lot of labels were like, yeah, we could sign you, but we're not going to give you necessarily what you're asking for because you haven't earned in our eyes the ability to be seen as worth what you're asking for, right? So she says, I got my whole vision laid out. I'm a type A personality. I got PowerPoints and decks. I come in with the shit and y'all can make suggestions, but this is what I'm doing. So she already had her vision. She had her PowerPoint. She had, a good idea of who and what she wanted to be and wasn't going to partner with anybody that was going to try to deter her from her vision board. They were the first people that were like, we fuck with that and we're going to let you do what you need to do. They've been very trusting of me because I've shown them that I can do it. They're just here to help me evolve it. They were artist friendly compared to some of the people I was talking to. They were trying to give me a color instead of making my color brighter. Okay, so they were trying to assign, and this is the other labels, they were trying to assign her a color, like we think you're this, rather than seeing what she is and amplifying it. They ask, how was it when Lauryn Hill brought you out? I think a lot of people got put onto her when that happened earlier this year. She says, surreal. I rehearsed 15 minutes with her and I missed her at sound check. Excuse me, with her band, and I missed her at sound check. She had came out later, so my first time seeing her was walking out on stage. Jazz in the Gardens is a mature crowd. A mature crowd is a tough crowd. They came there to see the niggas they rock with. I think the crowd was receptive for what it was. I felt like I did a good job to be on the same stage as somebody and I can turn around and be like, thank you, Miss Lauryn Hill. She's like, you're welcome. Like, what a full circle moment of my life, from listening to her projects in high school and throughout childhood, playing her in the house, to meet her and tell her it was a full circle moment and she's all warm and receptive is cool. The fact she wanted to highlight up and coming artists felt really great to be considered by somebody like that. And we also saw that she brought out Doechii that same concert. Okay, so both of them ended up getting up there. Boom, Doechii was there showing you love too. She says, I seen her while I was performing. I was doing the call and response thing I do, and she was up there. I seen her acknowledge and I blew her kisses. She's really a cool girl, cool ass girl, excuse me, very warm as well. I think the media tries to make it competitive, all right? So she's letting it be known. There's love there. There is no competition, because a lot of times, especially with the ladies in hip hop, it's always this there can only be one type of mentality. That's something that I counter very strongly on my channel, which is why I even talk about the ladies. And even when there may be rumblings of the bullshit, I try to stay away from it unless they feed into it, right? Who are some of your early music inspirations? She says, Christina Aguilera was my own first CD that I ever got. Back to Basics. My sister had a Chris Brown CD. It wasn't mine, but I was listening to it. Christina Aguilera, Erykah Badu. My dad played Slick Rick a lot. Shout out to Slick Rick. He just released his new project on Mass Appeal under Nas. Outkast, Florence and the Machine. And you can hear a lot of that influence in her music. Maybe not so much the Christina Aguilera and Chris Brown, but I can hear the Erykah. I can hear the Outkast. I can hear the Florence and the Machine in her music. Moving around so much as a kid, highlight one or two of the places where you lived. I was going to say Hawaii. She says, we moved to Hawaii when I was 9 and stayed there until I was 13. Me being young, I wasn't able to take in where we were at. I loved playing outside every day. We lived in a cul-de-sac and it was 82 degrees every day and I could walk to school. I wished I was a little bit older when I was there so I could drive around. Anytime we would do surfing or paddle boarding, I'd have to go with my neighbors. My parents not doing that type of shit. I played a lot of sports out there. Hawaii was dope. It really put me on the island music like J Boog and Common Kings. I was playing tennis. I was in a bowling league. Shout out to the bowling league people. I grew up in a bowling league myself. I just let it go probably like 7-8 years ago. I still bust your ass on the lane. I'm finna get me some new bowling balls too because I'm trying to get back into it. So shout out to that. And don't come fucking around. I used to average 220 out there bit. You were writing poetry growing up? She says, yeah, here and there. It wasn't until college that I got super into it. My mom's an English teacher, and she always had this segment where she would teach. And I got a 300 under my motherfucking belt, too, for anybody asking. I know you weren't asking. Anyway, my mom's an English teacher, and she was always had this segment where she would teach and show videos of Brave New Voices, which is like a reality thing. You go into inner cities and the kids work or on poetry pieces until the end of a competition. I was inspired by that. I was in the 5th grade writing slam poems about shit I had no idea about, doing slam poetry. It wasn't something I did every day. I would go through phases. I was really diligent in school. I never got a B in my life. So here we get the straight A shit. How was Arizona State University? What jump-started your rap career out there? To be completely honest, the first time I rapped a verse, remember when Chance the Rapper did the So Gone challenge on Twitter? He was rapping his girl, and then it started a whole thing. I did a So Gone challenge in high school. I was 17, and I did it for my mom. That shit went up in my school area. I would write little verses here and there. Even when I was in college, I remember writing verses to the explosive beat. I would pick hip-hop shit, and I would write verses to it when I was bored. One night in college, I was off a bean, Jesus, and me and my friends were sitting by the lake on ecstasy, and one of my friends, Dwayne, he would rap and he was playing instrumentals, and I was like, I got some shit in my notes that would go to this. I rapped one of my little poems, and my friends were like, damn, what the fuck? That was kind of hard. I couldn't stop writing after that. I stayed up all night trying to finish that shit. I went upstairs and got my bag and went to class. I didn't go to sleep. I was in class writing. Mind you, I'm a diligent kid, so me not paying attention in class, it's like I fuck with this. I would put my headphones on and walk to class writing raps. That was my life in high school. minus the bean, you know. I really enjoyed it, and the people around me were rap, so it was quick that I got in the studio and got into that environment. Quickly after that, I was performing. I was putting shit out on SoundCloud. It's 2019. Then COVID hit, and I lived by myself, so it became very therapeutic. I went through some dramatic events that made it a safe space for me to talk about the stuff I was going through, so I didn't feel crazy. Poetic Soul was an open mic event that would happen every Wednesday, and I went to that really often. That's where I started doing my live performance music stuff. They have a band, and you plug your phone in and have 5 minutes to do whatever you want. The band is so good that they'll pick up your track in 20 seconds, and the host will come out and unplug your track, and you just go with the band for the rest of the time. That was a cool experience. I've done those couple times out here in Atlanta as well. Not the same open mic, but that style. Once I graduated in 2021, I was like, damn, I'm going to try to do music for a little bit. I tried to go do the businesswoman shit I thought I wanted to do. I did an internship at Intel. I got paid crazy that summer as a college student. When did you become an artist? You said, I read this story. You went to LA for Grammys week and got caught up in a home invasion. Shit. She said, yeah, that actually happened in 2020. That was the traumatic shit I was talking about. That shifted my focus from being on rah-rah shit, which is so far out of my character, but at the time, I was even finding myself, to actually doing more conscious neo-soul, boom-bap type of rap at the time. That pivoted my trajectory. It wasn't until the Intel internship that was the thing where, okay, I'm going to do music. I was going to get into sustainability, but that shit is a joke. Damn. Companies that say they have a sustainability department, it's not real. It's an image thing. I started doing shows with music and doing admin jobs, and I drove COVID vans, which was crazy, transporting people with COVID to shelters and quarantine hotels. I needed to pay my rent. Yeah, going out in LA, yeah, that's a lot. Eventually, I was like, I'm going to go to LA and do music. What did your parents think of you pursuing a music career? My mom was so supportive. She's always been the person to say, now is the time to follow your dreams. Push come to shove. You got your degree. Maybe you could fall back on something. She was like, maybe you give yourself a certain amount of time, and if you're not getting opportunities, then you can come back. The opportunities never stop coming. All right, she says, Dad was a little more of a tougher cookie. He's very supportive now, but he had to see it first. Even with the record deal, I quit a decent job. I told him I got a record deal, and he was like, just make sure you see it in person because niggas be saying anything. He be putting all his friends onto my music. My 13th birthday, me and my dad rapped Children's Story back and forth. On my 18th birthday, he beatboxed Dougie Fresh, and I rapped La-di-da-di in the kitchen at breakfast. So, you know, she said her pops played a lot of Slick Rick. No fucking lie there. Because they celebrate her birthdays with Slick Rick. Ain't that some shit? Call him and then hit you with a verse right there. They ask who's going to play you in your biopic. She says, I wish I could say Zendaya could, but she's too cool to play me. She's too tall. She's too classy. She's amazing. Challengers was dope. They ask her about Nas. She says, yeah, I opened for Nas in London. We played 2 shows at the Royal Albert Hall. He's cool as hell. He's so interested in giving game, which is nice. It's really easy to respect him, not just because of his career, but as a human. He was very honest and real about shit. If he's not fucking with something, he'll say it. Shout out to Nas for allowing her to open up on 2 shows and to also have those conversations. They ask, what other business endeavors do you want to get into outside of music? She says, part of me is interested in fashion, but I don't know if that's the path that I want to take. A lot of me is interested in creative direction, and I'm a writer at heart. I feel like I could write great stories. Maybe TV and film is another way I can take it. Maybe not as in front of the camera. Being behind the camera or making a series would be cool. I really admire people like Childish Gambino or Issa Rae and Vince Staples. His series was cool. I could see it going into that era. Even Tiana Taylor, maybe creative direction. It would be cool to do for other people. They ask where she sees herself in 10 years. She says on a beach somewhere. Shit. I hope to have left a mark that can be respected and is thought of as quality as far as the music I make. I hope to be in different businesses I set up. I admire Rihanna's career path. I hope to be more at peace and content with where I'm at, more paced, but right now it's grind time. So in 10 years, she trying to get the fuck up out of here. I'm going to give y'all motherfuckers about 5-6 albums, and I'm getting the fuck on. Trying to be in fashion. I'm trying to do creative shit with TV. I ain't trying to rap all my motherfucking life in this dying ass business. I feel you. But yeah, once again, big shout out to Ray Vaughn and big shout out to Samara Cyn, 2 of the absolute standouts from the XXL freshman class of 2025. Nothing but continued success. You know you have nothing but support over here from your boy J Nolan. If y'all would be open to having a conversation on here on this channel, I am open. Please let me know your availabilities. Ray Vaughn, you already done been over here in the chat. Come fuck with me. Samara Cyn, invitation is open for you as well. We are very embracing of the ladies in hip hop. We do not discriminate over here on this channel. All right? I'm going to catch y'all in a little bit. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.